Hello, my name is David Tolbert. I am a resource specialist at the Temecula Valley Unified School District here in Riverside County. I currently work in an alternative ed school, and I'm working with students there, of course, who have IEPs and disabilities of a pretty broad range. Um, this is currently my 12th year as a resource specialist or working in special education. I've only lived in the Temecula area for, this is just now my second year, so really just a little over one. The rest of my experience comes from a suburb of Portland, Oregon, in Tigard, and I worked at Tigard Tualatin School District for 10 years before this, and there I was also working in special ed and worked with a wide variety of students, and of course, a lot of students who were diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder. And I've worked in a broad range with them as well. Some of them, of course, were a lot more high functioning, and it was just the day to day and executive functioning and getting them through their classes and getting them, helping them learn skills to do better organizing themselves and kind of dealing with stresses. Whereas other people that I worked with were a lot more low functioning, many nonverbal, some had behaviors that were aggressive at times, and so worked with a variety. Had to build a lot of plans, work with a lot of parents to help facilitate that as well. I have, as far as my work with assessments, I've of course been a part of the evaluation process for all 12 of my professional years, and depending on what district you come from, there are various roles that people take in the assessment process. In Oregon, I was a lot more involved and I had a lot more of a role. However, even with working with students with autism, I never took the lead on that. And I can't even tell you off the top of my head all of the assessments that our psychologists used. But I always a big part of that process, and I help with the academic side of it. And we're always a part of the evaluation team and developing the initial IEP through it all. Here in California, I have not been through assessing one student for autism spectrum. My role primarily is mild moderate in the position that I'm in. However, there has been one student that I've had since I've been here with autism, a lot high functioning, that we just had to kind of help navigate some of the ups and downs emotionally of the stress that she would feel from time to time. But as far as assessments, I've always worked academic assessments. That has always been my charge, and so I would do that as well as transitional assessments. Working with the Wyatt 3 was the most common tool that we used in both districts, actually, at Oregon and down here. So I'm very familiar with that. Familiar with the Woodcock Johnson, but I haven't used that personally. I just have seen the results of it and used it for kids who are transitioning into our school district. This class, I'm hoping to become more familiar with the process of assessing students with autism. I have been somewhat removed from that whole process, other than when developing a plan and looking at reports and the results of those kinds of assessments and how I build IEPs or programming for students. And so I do see the end results. I'm looking forward to seeing a little bit more of the process and some of the different kinds of tools that people use. And we'll reach out to our school psychologist to see what kind of tools that are required here at Temecula, and kind of have a better understanding of the whole process from beginning to end in that way. Rainy day, something that I like to do on a rainy day. There was a lot of rainy days in Portland, so we did spend a lot of time hanging out inside, reading, and of course doing indoor activities. Lots of I have two small children, so we go to indoor play parks, watch movies, things like that. whatever we could. Now that I've been in Temecula, we have not had nearly as many rainy days, and so we are mostly outside and at the beach if we could possibly make it. So we're enjoying the sun and happy to be here. So, all right, that's a little bit about me, and thank you.